Hi, this is Linda Bird, and I want to welcome you to a short presentation on horse colors, and this will be featuring our wonderful Riding High therapy herd. So with horse colors, we have three base colors, and all the other colors are pretty much based off of those genetically with a lot of variations. So our three base colors are chestnut or red, which you see ginger as a demonstrator here on the far left. And you can see that it's the same color pattern all the way through with a fairly light mane and tail. It could be the same color as the rest of the horse, or it could be a little bit lighter. In the middle, we have a bay horse who's pretty much a brown horse with what we call black points. And black points are black mane and tail and black lower legs, black muzzle, and sometimes black around the ears as well. And then we have black on the far right. With these horses, these three base colors, we can kind of think about them as if you were like going into Walmart and buying a can of medium blue paint, and then you want it a little bit lighter, so you'd add some white to it and make it lighter. Here you could take that same base color blue and add some black and make that color a little bit darker. And we do the same thing here with the horses, where we can have a bay colored horse, for instance, or a chestnut or black, and we add something called a dilution gene, which makes the horse lighter, or we can add some other genetics and make them a little bit darker. So our first main base color is chestnut, sometimes called sorrel by our Western friends, or sometimes they'll just say the horse is red. And ginger is a good example of that. Again, we have the same color all the way through. The lower legs and the mane and tail are going to be the same color as a horse or a little bit lighter. We can lighten up that horse and make the horse a light chestnut like the horse on the left, or we can make them darker and make them a dark, or what we call a liver chestnut. So we can lighten up the chestnut color pattern so much that we end up with a cream colored horse like the one on the left, or your Palomino color pattern, which Sugar in the middle is exhibiting, or the horse on the far right is a good example as well. And what you'll notice with these is that they've got that beautiful golden color, but their mane and tail is even lighter than what you see in the red chestnut horses such as Ginger. Our second base color for horses is bay, and we've got our wonderful Chief on the left exhibiting the bay color pattern with the dark mane and tail, or the black mane and tail, black lower legs, and he would have a black muzzle, except we put a little bling on him and he's got that nice blaze on him. On the right, we have a horse named Freedom that I used to own, and she's exhibiting that color pattern really well too. In her case, she just has one little white sock in the back. If we darken up the bay, we end up with a dark bay, and some of you will probably recognize Prince, who used to be at Riding High, and he is a good example of a dark bay horse. Of course, he has one white sock behind. If, on the other hand, we take that bay base color and we lighten it up with a dilution gene, we end up with buckskin, and you can see some good examples here on this particular slide. Our third main base color pattern is black, and the only true black horse we have at Riding High is Midnight. And you can tell he's black because his muzzle is black, and of course right now the rest of him in this photo looks black. However, in the summer he can get a little sun bleached, and sometimes the outer hairs on his body will look a little brownish, but you can look at his muzzle, or you can just kind of rub his fur the wrong way and you'll see that he's got black skin in there as well. So he is the only true black horse we have. On the right, we've got a beautiful Friesian from the internet that is exhibiting that black color pattern as well. So in this slide, we have a horse that actually is brown. Now she looks black, but if you look at her muzzle, you'll see that it is in fact brown, and that's how you would know that this is not a true black horse, that in fact her color would actually be called brown. Another color that we want to look at is gray, and there's a lot of variations in the amount of white that a gray horse has. For instance, a lot of times they start off as a dark gray when they're born, and throughout life they become lighter and lighter until they end up looking almost white. Our roans are a beautiful color pattern, and they have sort of what we would consider salt and pepper combination where they've got some white hairs and then some of a darker hair colored, and they're all interspersed together. The horse on the very far left is a strawberry roan. That's very marked strawberry roan. Our own Will, right in the middle photo, is actually considered a strawberry roan as well, though his color pattern's not quite so pronounced. The Gypsy Vanners have a lot of different specific colors, patterns mapped to them, and if you're ever at Riding High and really want to look at the genetics behind Will, I do have the paperwork on it. It's pretty interesting. On the far right we have Barney, and Barney would be considered either a gray roan or usually people call it a blue roan. Again, we can take the base color, in this case chestnut, and we can add some other genetics, and then the horse is exhibiting a chestnut Appaloosa color or a black and white pinto color, something like that. We have Khaleesi on the left, who is Kayla's horse, and on the right we have a horse that is exhibiting a blanket, an Appaloosa with a blanket. So you can see these are two different types of Appaloosas. They're both considered Appaloosa, but they have a different sort of color pattern. Pinto is another color pattern. It can be any breed, and we just kind of put that color on any breed that we want. On the far left, we have Nutmeg, who's a Tennessee walking horse, and she's a black and white pinto. And in the center, we have Calico, who is a draft cross, but again, she's showing the pinto color pattern. And the horse on the far right is one that I used to own, and she is a Frisian Dutch warm blood cross. On this slide, we see our wonderful Jackson, and he's also exhibiting a pinto pattern, one that looks like it was kind of splashed up from the ground onto his belly, and this is called an Overo pattern. But if we have a horse that has quarter horse bloodlines and has the pinto patterns, they usually will refer to that horse as a paint horse. So now it's time for you to figure out what color the horses are. We've got Ginger. What color is she? Is she pinto, brown, bay, or chestnut? You should have chosen chestnut. Chief, is he pinto, gray, bay, or chestnut? He is that bay color with the black points. Nutmeg, what color is she? Pinto, gray, bay, or chestnut? She is pinto. And I will point out, this is Nancy Bible, our founder, who's riding Nutmeg in this particular slide. Barney, what color is he? Pinto, roan, bay, or palomino? He is roan. Jackson, is he brown, pinto, or paint, bay, or palomino? He is pinto. Here's our wonderful Smudge, who is at the elementary school being involved in the Pony Partners Literacy Program. What color is she? Pinto, gray, bay, or black? She is a bay, and you can see she has one little smudge or one little star on her forehead, and that is it as far as bling for Smudge. Midnight, what color is he? Is he a pinto, gray, bay, or black? He is black. And Will, what color is he? Is he roan, gray, bay, or black? He is a roan. So the horses at Riding High want to thank you, and I want to thank you for watching. The coat color genetics are really pretty interesting, so if you'd like to delve more into it, just see me sometime at Riding High, and I will point you to some resources for that, because again, it is fascinating.